Yeah. Bro code.
Bro code, we in new modes, and we do it better sticking together. Won't bend, won't fold. No, I got your back through whatever weather, rain, sleet, or snow. Making profit while we get to the cheddar. We in that mode, you know if we got a problem, we pull up in that jail. Feel fall on my bros, collected like the colors in the rainbow. All of that talking you did on the net, we know that you only did it for a pose. If I pull up then I get in the tank, I need me like 500K for a show, or maybe more. And I got all of the stars in the ceiling cause we in a row. Yeah, just for the bros, brothers forever, so you know we got each other back. We aiming for gold, sticking together, tell us about the weather, we never slack. Gotta stick to the code. Bro code, we in new modes, and we do it better sticking together. Won't bend, won't fold. No, I got your back through whatever weather, rain, sleet, or snow. Making profit while we get to the cheddar. They know we own. Take off, we did. Diamonds, two-tone.
So check us out. We got another good show, another good topic to talk about. Really excited about it. We got some guests on the show, as you can see. I'll introduce them properly. But thanks to all of our fans for continuing to support us. We noticed the feedback. We got new members coming in.
Thanks for the new members.
Yeah, so appreciate that. So we're growing, and we're excited about that, where we're at and where we're going, more importantly. So without further ado, I want to welcome everybody to the next episode of Bro Code. All right. So before I get into the topic, I do want to introduce a couple of guys that we've been knowing for a long time through friendships and everything like that, and connections. And we're excited to have them on the show to help us break down this topic that we're talking about. So first I'll introduce, he's actually a younger brother of one of our members, Orlando. He is from our hometown of Bainbridge, Georgia, 229 representing. You know, he's a karaoke guy. He'll sing you under the table. He actually is wearing a shirt right now that says soloist, so I know he can blow. He's trying to be a little humble right now. But without further ado, we'd like to introduce Brother Edward Anderson to the show.
Hey, appreciate you coming through, man.
Welcome, man. Welcome.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all having me, man.
Yes, sir. Glad to have you here, bud. So the next guest we want, and this is not a guest, so let me go ahead and correct that. This is not a guest. If you know Bro Code, you know this next gentleman that I'm about to introduce because he is Bro Code. He's a husband, a father, a leader in the church, and most importantly for us, he's a mentor for us. Yeah. We have grown a lot just by his wisdom, his knowledge that he drops on us. We meet, like we have meetings before we get in the studio, before we do any shows or anything like that. And we kind of chop down and break down things that we're planning on discussing. And this brother right here is just a huge facilitator for us, you know, to help us with our content. So we'd like to introduce to this side of the camera, yes, Mr. Tony Robinson.
Appreciate it. We finally got him.
Finally got him.
Got him on about 2 seasons.
Right. So he's always here with us in the studio. For the most part, he's always here, but he's on the other side of the camera. Right. And he's making sure that we're right. And, you know, so we really appreciate everything that you do for us, brother.
Behind the scenes. That's what
Mr. Behind the Scenes, exactly. So it's real fitting that we have Mr. Robinson on the show today because the topic that we're going to talk about, I feel, is something that's really pertinent to today's time and society right now. You hear both genders talk about it. And what we're going to talk about is the different personality types of men. So what we want to do on this show, on this topic, we want to kind of break down one specific personality type. So the topic for today's show is what is the true definition of an alpha male? The true definition of an alpha male. All right. So before we get into that, I'll do two things. The first thing I want to do is, and this was something that was unbeknownst to me, is I didn't know all the personality types of a male, right? And you know, certain sources that you go to, you know, there's 5, there's 6. there's actually 7 personality types. You know, some sources break down they highlight just the 5 or 4, but we want to go ahead and identify all 7 personality types. So the first one, of course, is alpha, and that's what we'll be breaking down today. But you also have the beta male type, the gamma male type. You have delta, sigma, omega, and I think there's one more. No, that's it. Alpha, beta, gamma, delta, sigma, and omega. Okay? So that right there just tell you, and we're talking about personality types, right? And, you know, one of the things that we talk about on our shows and a lot of our content is down the relationship realm, right? So personality is very, very important, right? Knowing the type of male you're with, right? So hopefully by the end of this conversation that we have today, you know, we can shed some light on the alpha type and, you know, some of the characteristics of the alpha type. And for those who are dating or those who are even married, you have a better understanding of your male based on their personality type. Okay. So before we get into it, and I'll let, you know, just anybody can jump in whenever they want to, but I do want to break down the definition, the dictionary.
The true definition.
Well, we're going to talk about the true definition, right? But the dictionary definition is basically the dominant male animal in any particular group.
King Kong.
King Kong?
That's what I see. You know, when you
Mufasa.
when you walk around.
They say the lion. They say the lion is the most. You know, so that's the dictionary definition. And if we have to expound it any more, a man tending to assume a dominant role in social or professional situations. All right. So, so let's jump into it, fellas. Let's jump into it. You know. We can get into, like, you know, what personality type am I or feel I be or who you are. But does anybody want to break down what they feel an alpha male is in layman terms?
So mine could be completely wrong, right? But for majority of my life, when you say alpha male, it's gonna be who's the dominant figure in the room, right? Who's controlling the room? Who is the person in the room, the male in the room that everybody's looking to for answers, who they're following, right? And so, like, even this work situation or home situation is normally somebody that's at the top that people are looking to, right? So that's kind of how I felt. You know, that's how you define an alpha male.
I always felt like they were the people who were, you know, the dominating people who always came in and they commanded like everybody's attention. They were a little bit intimidating because sometimes they were the more smarter people in the room. Not necessarily all of them, but they knew how to get stuff done. Like they come in and say, "Hey, this is where we're going. This is the direction we're going. This how we're gonna get there." Boom, knock it out, and everybody just jumps on board. No pushback, no nothing.
Right.
And that's the way everybody goes with it.
Yeah.
That's just been my experience from the ones over the years that I've met that have, you know, been like quote unquote.
And that's a good point because they say if you talk career types, right? They say some of the careers that most alpha males carry are CEOs of companies, entrepreneurs. You know.
So do you think that's a requirement to be a leader? Is to be an alpha?
No, I wouldn't say that.
No.
Go ahead.
I'm just saying, like this old saying, like you being the boss, you don't have to necessarily. They shouldn't be able to pick out who the boss is. If everybody, let's say it's your crew. Yeah. If you're the boss and a person who doesn't know can pick you out, then something wrong. Everybody in your group should assert the same respect, the same energy you do when you come around. Like I shouldn't be able to say, "Oh, he's the alpha," or "He's the alpha." You shouldn't be able to tell if everybody you associate yourself with or, you know, someone like you.
That's a good point, Edward, because I'm gonna tell you, like, one of the characteristics, and I had my phone. I was gonna go through some of the characteristics, but I don't have it on me. But one of the characteristics of being an alpha male is being humble.
Yeah.
Being humble, you know?
Right. Me personally, I feel like when it comes to
being an alpha male, that's number one as far as being able to be humble. But me personally, an alpha male already has, goals and stuff. Like I say, it takes a team. So an alpha male basically already, you don't have to be out front. Okay, a wise man told me, I was doing this project, and he was like, "It's your show, it's your project. Why you have to have your face on it? You don't have to be on the forefront." So basically, you got a whole game plan. Basically the ins and outs. So definitely, as the team go, you're gonna go. So alpha male, basically, it's gonna be that person that has that, mindset to make sure that the end game is gonna be successful.
Yeah.
Right. So my opinion of an alpha male is one who first knows and understands himself.
That's very important.
You have a lot of people who want to be alpha males, and they do it based on what they've seen, what they've heard.
Yeah.
I want to be an alpha male, so then they get around people and they content for control.
Yeah.
A true alpha male doesn't have to have control. What he does is he observes, he listens, and he starts forecasting what he wants to see. People who are CEOs, pastors, good businessmen, even women, what they do is they listen, and they don't worry about what's happening right this minute. They start forecasting what could it be.
Yeah.
And once you do that, people start migrating to you because your ideas sound different from just talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
A true alpha basically goes with understanding and not knowledge. And that's what's important. If you understand something, then you can regurgitate it to someone else.
Who does it? Okay. Yeah.
If you just talking based on knowledge, then people listen, but then after a while you only can go so far.
Right.
But when understanding is understood, I can show you, you can show me, we can both do it.
Yeah.
So my grandmother was the alpha for the family. Like everybody,
Migrated to her. Yeah.
because of her
Big mama.
Right, because of her knowledge and her understanding and her direction, her guidance, her leadership.
Was that Miss Brady?
Yes.
Yes, she was.
So my grandmother.
Because she babysitted my younger brother.
Yes.
And there was a couple summers I went over there because she was babysitting him, and I got to know her really good. She was an alpha.
Yes.
She was. Yeah.
Like family members from states away would call if situations arose and they couldn't deal with them or whatever, or what have you. But as a kid, not really understanding why, like they grown, why they can't deal with it.
Right.
But having this conversation about alphas and understanding leadership, and as I grew and I saw and I began to understand, I understood why. Because she was that pillar, she was that person. She didn't favor one way or the other.
Right.
She wanted the facts. She wanted to understand what's going on. This is how we want to see it.
So you saying that alpha is male and female?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
It can be both. That's why when he said male or female, I was like,
Do two alphas work together?
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is what's funny. when you on them apps and you swiping,
I don't know nothing about that.
Some of them will say specifically
They will.
seeking another alpha.
Right.
Exactly.
Because they know what they're going to get in return from how they are. And they feel like anything less than an alpha is not good.
Right.
Yeah, they're
Have you ever worked with somebody you butt heads with? And then after you get to know them, and that tension stops, then you start saying, he see the same thing I see.
Yeah. It's that respect.
And it doesn't really matter whether you're alpha, a beta, a gamma. What you have to realize is we all coexist and we all fluctuate between them.
Yeah.
We're not just one. No alpha is just an alpha.
Right. It's just like a gorilla, a silverback. A silverback is strong enough to break you in half, but soft enough to pick a flower without breaking it.
Exactly.
You know when you see it, you know that's a gorilla, but he only show you he a gorilla when he has to. Other than that, he can be as gentle as
Exactly.
a kid.
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
So we all take and fluctuate between the different genres because there are times where you have to step back.
You don't know it.
You could be right.
Yeah.
You could be right. But you're not the person in charge.
Yeah. Or you might just not. I mean, you're not going to be an expert on
Exactly.
everything.
Gotcha.
Right. So you have to have the the confidence to say, hey, you know, this is not my thing.
Or like he said, the understanding.
Yeah, and to step back and say, hey, you know, maybe I need some help.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, maybe even being able to admit that you need help is a kind of
I
trick.
can go back to a conversation we had when I really first met most of you guys. I told you, I'm waiting for you guys to show me stuff that I don't know. And you have done that.
Right.
You
So,
know?
ladies and gentlemen, this man challenges us all the time.
Right.
And when he starts talking, we just listen.
That's it.
We just look for those little nuggets that we can take.
That's
and just
right.
So
add.
with you saying that brings up a point that I wanted to make too, because when it comes to being a true alpha male, I feel like one of the biggest things that you got to be able to do is take criticism, whether it's negative or positive.
That's correct.
And a lot of people basically, you can't, like, if you're trying to be that true alpha male to get to that next level, you got to be able to take criticism, whether it's negative or positive. You know what I'm saying? Because basically, if you feel like you know everything, you know what I'm saying, can't nobody step in and tell you this, that, and the third. It could be the smallest little grain that basically that you're missing out on that's going to help you get to a bigger height than you are. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, I mean, that brings me to a story, you know, me doing plays and movies. I had this guy come in and critique one of my plays and whip it apart. And I'm like, you coming to my house, man, time, like, you telling me that my stuff ain't good, but who you supposed to be? You know what I'm saying? But yet and still, I had to humble myself.
There it
You
is.
know, I had to look at the fact, okay, this guy been doing this a little longer than I have. So the stuff that
see something that
the
you
stuff
don't
that he
see, right.
sees,
Yeah.
maybe I need to go back and
Brain.
take a look at it. So when I went back and, you know, did the changes that I had to do, he came back, he was like, okay, bro, I see, you know, you did what I told you, but the outcome was totally different because, like you just said, not only was he trying to teach me something, the way I did it and changed it, I taught him something as well.
That's correct.
Yeah, so I mean, that's
Is it a resistance though when you approach an alpha and try to make them feel like they don't know everything?
it's the
or-
presentation.
Yeah, I just said make. So you just said
Yeah.
try to make them.
Right.
It could be like presented as I'm trying to help you understand it a different way instead of because you know certain words trigger like when you just said go to an alpha and make.
Yeah.
Some alphas like you can't make me do
Right,
nothing.
right.
Well, I'll put it this way. One of the things that I notice about alpha males in general is their consistency. No matter when you see them, this is how they are.
And that's another characteristic of alpha males, consistent.
Right.
Yeah.
Your consistency. And then the other thing is, if I'm wrong, and I know I'm wrong, I can admit it. I can tell you, yeah, I did that wrong, I messed up. Whereas some people's ego won't allow them to do that.
Even if you look at like even kings, right, had a council.
Yes.
You know, so they had a group of advisors,
Right,
that they trust or whatever to know that, hey, you know, if I'm the king, I'm just gonna run out there doing all this kind of stuff. They like, hey, hold on, let me reel this back in and talk to my people.
Let me bring it to you and see.
Does
you agree with me going this way?
Right.
Is there anything I can
adjust or go a different direction, right? So even the king, and he's the absolute ruler.
Right, but if I put my deacon hat on for a second,
Okay.
Jethro told Moses, right, you can't do all this judging by yourself. Go find some decent men, let them be the judges on the low stuff, you handle the big stuff. Just that simple.
See what I mean, fans? They're dropping them gems. Boom, those gems right there.
They just come at you, you don't even realize.
So I'm gonna say this, like one of my biggest experience with just being in Tony's presence, man. You know, I consider myself an alpha male. You know, I consider myself a hustler, hard worker, whatever. But it's been plenty of times where I went to him and had a conversation with him about certain different things, and the smallest little thing that he just made me think about. I'm like, I don't think about it like that. So. No matter how much of an alpha male you are, it's always going to be somebody who can teach you something.
Oh, yeah.
So the thing about it is, are you really willing to listen to it? Because
Always.
if you're really trying to get to that next level, I'm saying, like you said at the beginning, you got to be able to listen.
But honestly, and this is just based off of my experience with them. Do alpha males feel like they need to grow or have room to grow? Like, don't they automatically feel like they at the top of the food chain and anybody that's under them trying to teach
that's
them
the
anything?
illusion. That's the illusion.
That's an illusion?
That's the illusion. Yeah. For example, I know how to work. I know how to get things done.
Right.
But I'm also a procrastinator.
Right.
And I can wait to the last minute of the 9th hour and get the full job done, and you would think I spent weeks on it.
I would do that too.
Okay? But that's my knowledge of it.
Right.
When I share it with you, I'm giving you the completed work. So from your point of view, it's a completed work, it's done, the T's, crossed, I's dotted, it's there. And so when you get it, you see a finished product. A finished product is what?
It's final. That's it.
Give me another word.
Complete.
Complete. Yeah. And when something is complete, then there's no changes that need to be made. However, if I give you a finished product and I say we still need to tweak this. Now I know what I've done, but I'm looking for you guys to help me add on to it, because we need to take it a step further than I can take it by myself.
This is further I can get.
You see, and that's what an alpha male does. He doesn't necessarily have all the credit.
Right.
He wants to make sure that whatever the goal is, we reach the goal and then we surpass it. So the next time we do it, we don't even want to stop there. We're already saying we did that. We want to go one step further, two steps further.
So when I
delegation.
Yeah. So when I was doing my research and just kind of familiarizing myself with the term alpha male, like I said, I didn't even realize it was that many personality types. The conclusion I drew for myself, because I actually want to go and take a personality test, to see where I fall in at, right? And I actually started doing it, and it's like 300 questions. I was like, I'll do that.
300?
It's 300 questions. They say you can do it in 15 minutes. And I started it, and I got to like 12 questions, and it was already 7 minutes. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to finish this no time soon. But I am going to circle back and do that. Right. But in the little research I did on this topic and everything like that, I asked myself, like, am I alpha male? And my answer is, and I don't know what personality type I am, but I don't think I'm an alpha male. All right. And the reason I say that, now I see the traits of an alpha male, and I have some of those traits. I don't have all. Right. I mean, if I had the consistency and the discipline that alpha males, the trait that they carry, I would be in better shape. You know what I mean?
If that's what you wanted.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But because if you don't want that, then that may not be.
But if it is something I want, that means, okay, well, you might not fit that alpha male criteria. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to really be real with yourself. And so for me, I would say, okay, well, I'm not there, but I know I want to be there. I want to be an alpha male. So if I'm being true to myself, nah, brother, you got some work to do.
So you hit a key. And this is a question y'all can each answer for yourself, and you can answer in this group if you want to. How often do you do self-reflection?
Not as often as I should.
What does self-reflection mean to you?
Well, we kind of talked about it before in previous episodes. It's like, it's a way of healing. Basically, self-reflection is when you're in the process of healing or trying to self-develop, you got to reflect, you know? So for us, for me, self-reflection is really looking at self.
Yeah, kind of like if you...
Really change what's necessary to get to that. Then like, let's say you're I'm a procrastinator. Like if I look at self and know like, okay, man, I really need to start amping up, or I need to pick up in this area. That's something, even if you're not if you do it, like that doesn't necessarily make you an alpha. Let's say you're a beta and you procrastinate. That's something I got to pick up to be the best, the strongest beta I could be, or be the strongest delta I could be. Right. Your goal should be to be the best person who you are. Trying to just necessarily
That's the sign of a true alpha. And I'm going to mention the person's name, you're going to laugh, right? But Donald Trump.
He's an alpha.
No, he's not.
They got him listed. They got him listed as an alpha.
They have him listed as an alpha, but you got to remember, he was taught. Right, by Norman Vincent Peale, who was his father's best friend. So when you're taught certain things, you can project that information, but that doesn't necessarily make it you. So what happens is, when people see you, that's just what you're projecting. But if you look at his record, you see failures all around.
I was about to say, because your brother been took you L.
You see, so while you have the ability to put out an alpha male, what helps him is, number one, he's rich, not by design, by purpose. His father helped, but he don't want to talk about that. The second thing is, he's in charge. And when you're in charge, no matter who is under you, they're gonna give you that certain amount of respect.
Right. Yeah.
So the traits of alpha male are there, but the personality isn't.
Yeah.
See, if you look at his personality, you find him down there low.
Yeah.
He's actually low. He might not even register in some of the other ones.
None of the other what,
Very-
4, 5,
very low.
what you say, AC?
Because-
Seven types. There's 7 types.
But if you look at what he has done is this, he surrounded himself with people who can help him.
But doesn't that make you an alpha male though? Like
me, it
understanding where you're lacking and putting people in place.
If Donald Trump, right, was only making $90,000 a year,
He will be in that position. Yeah.
would you consider him an alpha? Do you think he can get the people around him?
But I mean, he's done something to make it where all these people follow him like he's some kind of cult leader.
But see, this is the thing. But see, Norman Vincent Peale was a cult leader.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, I didn't know that.
right. So if you was taught
Yeah.
by that type of leader, then you know the traits of how to get people to follow you.
Yeah.
But by himself, if he was only making $90,000 a year, could he actually get a business going?
And I think that's where that word dominant comes into place, right? When we talk about alpha males, that domineering trait. That's what. So you can be the dumbest person. You can be the make the least amount of money, but if you got that domineering spirit,
When you walk in the room,
you command that
Right.
that energy and that respect from people. So that's what Donald Trump has. You
No,
know?
he's a bully.
He's a bully. That's another.
That's not an alpha male. I'm just giving an example. No, but we can look at other alpha males. Martin Luther King was an alpha male.
Right.
Okay, so was Malcolm.
Yep.
Okay,
Malcolm for sure.
and when you even talk with Martin, he was surrounded by people because he didn't all pick everybody that was around him, but he was able to influence people outside of his sphere, and he even influenced people who didn't like him, but respected him. Right. It's a difference.
Yeah.
And people who didn't like him because of his color or what he did still respected him and knew the power that he had. So it's a difference. I'll give you another example. Jesus was a very strong alpha. And the people who he met picked up on it. They felt it. But think about this. The authorities didn't even know who he was.
Right.
When he was betrayed, Judas said, the person that I kissed is the one.
They didn't even know.
So you can be an alpha and nobody even knows what you're doing. It's just like I've been in the background, right? You don't have to be in the foreground to have that power to influence people.
But you don't think as soon as people start following you, you don't take on that alpha persona as people are following and doing what you're saying?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Not necessarily. And this is the reason. If say I want to be the alpha, whenever you start doing something, now I'm trying to control what you do. That's not influence. That's not influence. That's coercion.
Yeah. It's sort of like how, I'm from the country, y'all from Bainbridge, I don't know.
Man, we from the country, man.
I'm not from the
Well,
country.
he a city slicker, man. He's a city slicker.
Uncle June. Uncle June is in our community, he's an alpha male. And I think another trait of alpha male is you tried and true. Like your presence in the neighborhood is known. Like your work in the community is known. So when you come around, they already know. Or we already know when he come around. Okay, things finna get done. Like as soon as you show up, you don't have to say nothing. Your work, your work history, your ethics is already
Precedes you.
Yeah, it already speaks for you when you show up. Like, being an alpha male, you can be an alpha male and nobody seen you get mad in 5 years, but they know. Hey man, that's what's called. Even if you don't know him, hey, that's what's called.
The way he carries himself.
Yeah. People already know you already proved yourself enough to. You don't have to assert that dominance every time they come. They know like if something going on and he coming, okay, the job finna get done. We know the job gonna get done because this alpha male's in the room. He doesn't have to come in like, okay, you know I'm here. We're finna get it done now.
He don't have to come in beating his chest.
You already know it. Like we come in the room, it's time. Okay, everybody get on the same page. your presence is already known for being just that.
I want to take this down.
Respect
I want to take this down the relationship realm in a minute, but before I do that, I want to. And this just hit me. So we got the 7 types, right? And it's all Greek terminology, right? Alpha, beta. Like, did y'all realize that? Like most Greeks, like, so is it associated with like our Greek or fraternities and sororities?
Not
associated
necessarily.
with personality types?
Not necessarily.
Well, so okay, if you go to like being on campus and stuff, yes, it is.
They looking for certain personalities.
So if you let's start Omega, right? They're more so rah we back, you know what I'm saying, that kind of thing. And then you go to kind of, I guess you say alphas, they're more laid back, educated men, you know what I'm saying?
Boys.
You know, and then when you say pretty boys, you gonna say the Kappas, right?
Yeah.
Right.
That we like, man, the Kappas are going after all the women and stuff like that, right? And so there are, even for the women, right? So AKAs are supposed to be the pretty girls, right? The Deltas are supposed to be pretty, but they like, hey man,
We're going to get the job
we're
done.
gonna get the job done. They throw paint, whatever, right? So all of those, there are personalities associated because they go after certain people.
That's how they recruit.
Once they see how they act and stuff like that, I was like, yeah, you won't fit, you don't fit. Oh, you fit. Right, based upon how you carry yourself and stuff like that.
So that kind of dawned on me when we were talking about personality.
That's part of it, but you have to remember, the Greeks learned from the Egyptians.
Okay.
And what happens is, if you just take Pythagoras, right? Pythagoras was very, very intelligent, and he brought a lot of mathematics to Greece.
Yeah.
But he learned in Egypt, he learned in India, he traveled the world.
Y'all gonna have to go look that up. Y'all gonna look him up.
And what you have to remember is, if you come in and you learn something that nobody in the neighborhood knows, and you open up a school and you teaching all these things, you're gonna become great. There's a thing called the Pythagorean theorem, right?
Yep, I heard of that.
Right?
Yeah.
But he got named for that, but he didn't invent it.
He just taught it.
He taught it. He taught it, but he learned it from over here.
And brought it over here.
Brought it over here. So what happens is, we tend to have these labels that we see, that are Greek labels, but the Greeks were the first ones that was actually going down and learning in Egypt even before the Romans.
See, we talking about, ladies and gentlemen. See, we talking about.
So it still goes back to Africa.
It still comes back to us.
That rabbit hole.
It still comes back to us.
Yeah.
Tony get deep, man. That's
We love it. Hey, we're going to get him again. We had to fight with him, but we're going to get him again. He going to
So
come
back
back
to you,
again.
you said something about relationships.
How does being an alpha apply to like relationship, marriages?
Yeah, so I mean, let's talk about it, because we hear, like you said, on the apps and everything like that. People, they advertise and they advertise what they want. They say, well, they're looking for an alpha male, right? But get in relationships. People get in relationships, and you got a man that's dominant or have those traits of being an alpha male, but it doesn't go well sometimes. They don't want that. So why do you guys think females may have issues with an alpha male?
You think probably a lot of women. I think if you walk into a room, if a woman walks into a room and they looking at the guys, and the one that's sitting there that they visibly see that's kind of like dominating the room, like, oh, he, he must be real important or something like that. He got a lot of stuff going on for him because people are looking at him, respecting him and stuff like that. Right. And she like, I want a man like that. Yeah. She don't want the one that's over in the corner just kind of like balled up, like meek. I want to call it. Right. Yeah. They don't want that. Maybe some, but probably not a lot.
So first attraction.
Wait. Let me go ahead. You said go back to your question. Your question was, why do you think that?
Yeah. So females may say they want a alpha male, but then they get that alpha male. It tends to be something they may not want.
I think it's more like this right here. Okay, let's say this the alpha male, right? She wants this alpha male, but then she get him, just all the traits that come with the alpha male. But she might be like, okay, I don't like that.
Right. That's fun.
Take this out.
Take that one out.
Right.
So now he's not that no more.
Yeah, exactly. So now
she don't really want.
If he's a true alpha male, it's boundaries to where I'm not taking this. My bad. Good. Like this is the line right here, and you can't cross this. Well, she probably, I want to talk to you a certain way. So that might be the line that he's drawn. Like you're not gonna talk to me any kind of way.
Well, she don't want
I'm used to talking to
my
guys a certain way, and that's where the whole is not gonna.
If we're talking, in listen to this conversation and what we're talking about when it comes to alpha men. They're going to project a certain personality and attitude and certain traits to women. Some women aren't ready for that. Some women can't handle that.
But
That leadership,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
We're gonna go eat over here tonight. No choice.
Some women can't make up their mind.
Right.
Yeah.
This is where we're going.
Right.
You say you don't know what you want. We're going to Applebee's.
This-
Not necessarily Applebee's, but
But in some
This is
cases,
how you gonna cook tonight.
But some cases, an alpha male does the exact opposite.
yeah.
I was just gonna say that.
He'll sit back and know what he wants. He'll know what he wants, but he wants her to choose what he wants.
And then and let's use it.
But when she doesn't choose what he wants,
He'll
Okay.
still accept it.
Right.
Because she's
Based on what
made
you
a
said,
choice.
coming in the room and seeing all this stuff as far as this different traits for this alpha male, but you see this guy in the corner that basically like, well, he quiet or whatever. 9 times out of 10, that's the alpha male.
Could be the alpha male.
I'm saying this guy that you see that got all this going on, yeah, he might put that portrayal on that way he got him. I'm saying, but yet still, that guy that's in the corner, the reason why you looked over him because he ain't got all this attention on him like this other guy.
Yeah.
But that's the main guy. that's
So
going off the
let me
alpha male.
ask you a funny question.
Room is his. The
Right.
building
Yeah,
is his.
let me ask you the question, right? Y'all know the Dodge commercials, right?
Dodge commercial.
Dodge commercials, and they spinning the charges
Right,
and the
right,
challenges,
right.
right?
Oh, yeah.
So now, how many people you think that buys a Challenger tries to burn donuts? How many?
lot of them.
What percentage?
Probably 95% of them.
Yeah, I probably.
I bet it's low. It's probably
I mean, anybody who knows that don't want to how expensive tires are, they ain't gonna go out there and do that.
So the point I'm making is that number is up in the air.
Right.
Depends on your age.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
You're not gonna do it.
right?
But
Okay.
your 19-year-old son
But the
might
point
ride.
Maturity level.
right, but the point I'm making is, just because you can spin a donut doesn't make you a master over that car.
Right.
You may be able to do it successfully several times, but how many of them you see got dents and stuff all over it?
Oh yeah.
Okay? That's the point I'm making. So when somebody says they want to find an alpha male, right? Do you want an alpha male or do you want an alpha man?
Right. And let me add something to that. Also, I feel like a trait of an alpha male is also knowing that it's gonna be certain things that basically somebody's better than you at. I'm saying you gotta be able to accept that.
Yeah.
And I've been in certain situations where I'm not even trying to be better than you, but it's just natural like that. But the hate that you get come from it, I'm like, bro, I don't need all that beef. It's not that serious. But the thing about it is, when you're a true alpha male, you gotta accept the fact it's gonna be some people that's better than you. That don't take away from you being an alpha male. It's somebody that's better than you at some things.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's try to break it down a little bit. And I'm totally freestyling right now. But so we say an alpha male could be a male that says, "Hey, we're going out to dinner, and this is where we're going." Right. Female. So what are we seeing in the dating world right now? As you know, some of us were single. You know,
So
you single?
let me say this. So since we talking about the relationship part of it, I truly feel like a true alpha male is gonna make you think for yourself. He's gonna make you step outside the box. He's gonna push you. He's gonna make you grow in areas that you don't feel like you should. Because basically, yeah, you may not have cooked. Yeah, you may not have sex me real good, adult activities. So you may not have do all that stuff you may know how to do as a woman, okay? But now I'm bringing you in as my partner,
Right.
okay? Now what can you do from a partner standpoint?
And that's
you can do a lot of things as a woman. All the stuff you can do, you grew up to know how to do that. They taught you that, okay? But now as my partner, the business side of it, the emotional side of it, where I need you to step in and help me make decisions. Where are you with as far as that part? Because you say you want an alpha male, I want an alpha woman. Okay, I want to be able to, want you to come in. Basically, when we do this, when we build this empire and build this partnership, I shouldn't have to be the one to think all the time.
So excuse me for a second. Let me just say this. So as you say that, right? If just put, I'm gonna put myself in a female shoes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you say to me, I'm putting you in this partnership. As a female, I have a problem with that.
Why is that?
Because just like you're in the partnership, she's in the partnership.
So let me ask you a question. So you got a problem with me putting you in a partnership, yet still you don't have a problem reaping the benefits of the partnership.
Let me interject on both of those. So this I've been listening and I've been hearing things. As a man, not even alpha male, none of that. Just as a man, do you want to dominate your woman to the point where she just has to obey what you say?
No.
Okay,
that's not a partnership.
so the point I'm making is this. If we're gonna go out to dinner, I have two choices. I can say, hey, look, we can go here, right? Because I'm gonna say we can, because I wanna leave the door open for you to have choices. Or what would you like? Even in business, I may be running the business and all you doing is keeping my books for me. If you can keep my books and you can write the letters that I need, and I don't have to worry about that, and something comes up and you say, hey, look, this came up, I took care of it, that's good.
That's great.
Okay, but I can't sit back and demand that you do these things, even if you're capable.
Right.
Because you have a life, you have goals, you have dreams of what you want. And if you have children, you know, even if you just in the house with two of y'all, who's doing the housework?
Right.
Yep.
Is it just her job?
Nope. It's not.
No.
It's not.
So, you know, an alpha male has to look at the entire picture, pick up what he knows he can carry, share the rest.
So basically what you're saying, make sure that everything is functioning correctly. It's like it's a car.
As much as possible.
You making sure the wheels are good, the motor's good, the tires good, its gas is full. Not in the sense of the tire or the car, but in that relationship. Like
now, me and Rico in IT, so when I say this, he's gonna get this one real quick. All computers have what they call interrupts. Okay? So a computer has a processor and it's steady running. But every time you do something, an interrupt kicks in and say, hey, I got to interrupt what you're doing to do this. So it's a lot of interrupts. We in conversation right now, we interrupting each other, but we're not arguing.
Right.
So how can you say you are an alpha male and you can't take an interrupt?
Right.
That's true. Because the quote unquote alpha male, like, you're going to listen till I'm done type. Not necessarily has to be that way, but that's how some people think.
Right, but if you listen, if you're going to listen till I'm done, guess what? You may not tell me what you picked up on.
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting there going.
You ran off so much. I was gonna say
something. But you also may decide not to say anything.
Right, that's true, because what you might have said may have basically trumped everything I was even thinking, or either basically what I was thinking, what you just said made more sense than what I was thinking.
Or he answered what you was thinking.
Or you answered, right. Or you answered.
But all y'all been in a conversation with somebody, like, so conversation is usually two-way, right?
Yeah.
But they just running off, right? And they just keep going, they keep going. You can't even jump in. You like you trying to double dutch or you trying to get in there.
Right.
And then by the time you get in, you like, man, your whole train of thought, because you you're trying to still listen to them.
Right.
But then you want to kind of, hey, can you pause? Because I want to, say something about, add something at that point.
Right.
Yeah. So, but a conversation, you got to give somebody the chance to interrupt sometime to jump in, just like with us, right? You got to pause and say, hey, what you about to say? You have to do it sometimes.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, then somebody will dominate that conversation.
It ain't no conversation at that point.
It's really no conversation. Because now it's one way.
You're just talking.
Yeah, somebody's just talking at you.
So let's address this, because a lot of times you guys talk in relationships, and he's married, I'm married, and you married.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Whoa. Don't get it. You know this is it's gonna be out there, so you can't be like,
Look, he done hit the ball. Look, in my mind, I'm like, no, bro, don't do it. Just say yeah.
But
he got in trouble about that.
But the bottom line is this: when you have a significant other, whether you're married or not, and you may have children in your household, if you are alpha male and you're not trying to teach your children, you're not trying to guide your children, you just want to, rule with an iron fist, guess what's going to happen? Their children ain't going to like you.
Exactly.
get older, they ain't trying to listen.
They can
And
control.
see, one thing,
Yeah.
and I agree with you on that because being an alpha male when you got kids, it's not always about do this. It's more so of do this. This is why.
Yeah.
Or do this. This is the outcome.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to
I always
repeat
saying
something.
do this and don't have a reason behind it. They're gonna be like, okay, what he mean? You know what I'm saying? I'm saying I'm gonna do it, but I'm just only doing it because it don't make any sense.
But a true alpha does this. A true alpha does this. This is how I do it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then you show them how you do it. Now, you give them the ability to do it the way you do it or do it the way they do it. And if they don't do it the way you want it done, you correct them after the fact, not while they're doing it.
So give them the blueprint and then.
And let them work around
I
it.
do that. Do that make me alpha? I got traits and characteristics.
So-
Do you want to be an alpha male?
But let me ask you a question, though. Let me ask you a question, right?
Right.
When you say the word beta,
Right.
in anything outside being a male, when you say beta, what does beta mean?
I think of a fish.
Yeah, they,
I think of a fish.
Betas always mean it's the testing.
oh yeah,
Beta
yeah.
test. Beta test. Beta
You're
test.
testing.
Yeah, that's true.
Beta's testing.
See, look at that, ladies and gentlemen.
You
Like,
see?
hey, every time, but
Okay, so when you testing certain things, right? That means you have the ability to see if it work, if it don't work. Now, when you beta test something, and you've gone through the process of developing it, you looking to see can it take the stress.
But like with a beta, that means you unsure.
You're unsure.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? I don't like that trait beta. I mean, I want to be sure about my.
Well, that's my point.
You're unsure. You're just making sure.
Right, but it has to be tested. So if you're an alpha and you say you want to be an alpha, what happens when you get tested in areas that you're not sure on? But you are alpha male.
Right.
You claiming to be an alpha.
I'm playing. Yeah.
you might drop down to being a beta.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
You gotta
so-
know.
so let me ask this
Or
question.
you bring your crew around you that know it, right? And they're helping you to stay alpha.
Okay, but this is the catch. Say I'm a beta, right? Say I'm a beta, right? But I want to be an alpha, and you guys are my crew, right? But you're giving me respect of an alpha,
Right.
right? Because I know what I know and I know what I don't know.
Right.
That's the difference.
But that's like in a management position, right? You can manage people and not know anything about what
it.
they're
Right.
doing. Long as you
Can get them to do what they need to do.
long as you can play chess, you can move the people,
Yeah.
you can move the pieces. You commanding the board.
That's correct.
We got time for one more comment. Coop, you
So,
wanted to say something?
so let me ask this question, right? Can you be an alpha in your professional life and be something else in your personal life?
Yes.
That's a good question. Now,
I
yeah.
think so.
Yes.
So,
It's their job to man.
Again, you remember what I told you earlier? A lot of people become alphas based on the position they're in, not the person that they are. When you go to your job, the guy at the top has to play a certain role.
Right.
If you ever watch Star Trek, anything like that, the captains or captains of the ship, captain's supposed to go down with the ship, right? Why? Because he has to be able to say, I'm still in control.
And another example,
I'll never be a captain.
I'm prior military, so U.S. Marine. So when I was in boot camp, the drill instructor was like just stern. He was pretty much an alpha male. But then that last week before you graduate, and you finna go home and stuff. You talk to the drill instructor, he a whole different
person, yo.
Because his job was to train you in a certain manner,
Right.
and take away the raw material
Right.
that's not being used, and create something with it.
Strip you down.
Not strip you down. Create something. See, when you have raw material, right? Some of you take away, but the majority of it you keep and you start molding it, because this arm wasn't always that big. The raw material, you start working it,
Man.
the muscles grow.
We can really go a lot further. We can really go a lot further with that. Go ahead. One more
I
question.
got one question. So you married and you married. Okay. Me personally, I consider both of you guys alpha male. I've been knowing both of y'all for a long time. So I consider both of you guys alpha males. But my question is, do you feel like, because women can be alpha males too. So my question to you guys is, Has there ever been a time, or do you feel like the trait of you being an alpha male has grown due to certain things that your wife has been there for you with?
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, like in me, I fall back in a lot of situations, you know, because she gonna be better than me in something, right?
That's the humility part of
and
it.
I just like, hey man, you got it.
Yeah,
Thank
got
you.
it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
I don't even have to give an example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Teamwork make the dream work.
That's it.
Sir, all day.
That's the true partnership right there.
Yeah.
Fellas, really good conversation on that, man. Really, Tony, we appreciate y'all insight, man.
No problem.
Man, especially Mr. Tony, man, because we've been trying to get this guy for a minute, man.
We appreciate you gracing
He been ducking
the
and
camera,
dodging
man.
us.
Appreciate that. Yeah. So before we get out of here, we do want to do our special segment of the night, and it's called Ask Bro Code. So, Tony, I'll give you the honors of choosing a topic from one of our fans.
And you know I don't have my glasses on.
Uh-oh.
We'll help you out.
Read it for him, Rico. Oh, yeah, give me yours, Rico.
Without blaming your ex, what should you have done differently in your last relationship?
Oh, that's crazy. That's the ex thing. Y'all asked me was I married, and I'm going through a divorce.
Okay.
And I feel like one of the things I could have done to make it work, or at least try to make it work, is assert more dominance in certain situations, to where I took because my ex-wife is military. She's next month she'll be 20 years in. So a lot of times in the relationship, I wouldn't say like just go with the flow, but you know, if like we've been to South Korea, we're in Fort Hood, Texas. So if it was better for her career, like when I went to South Korea, a lot of my family they didn't want me to go.
Okay.
But as a husband and working towards her career, I feel like, why not? Like if it's better in her career and I'm making that sacrifice as a husband to work towards something, the end goal, why not sacrifice those 2 years that we went to Korea and for the career? Right? And then we came back, we went to Killeen, we went to Fort Hood, Texas. And it was just for her career, that was the best place for us to go.
Yeah.
So I feel like I could have been more assertive in certain areas instead of just, you know, just doing what's best for her career. I could have been doing a little bit, you know, better for my, like choosing my own lane instead of just, because now I'm going through divorce and now I'm pretty much starting back over. After 10 years.
That's tough, man. Like being prior military too, and you know, dating females in the military, and you know, everybody looking to, you know, go their own direction, and you know, some are 20, some are one and done, and you know, everybody's thought process is different. And you know, I was dating a girl she was gonna be 20. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, she was gonna do 20, like off rip, and it's like. I'm finna be out, you know what I'm saying, after 4 years. So it's like, I don't, you know, we might keep in touch, you know, I don't know if it's, you know, which way this gonna go.
Thanks for sharing that.
You know, they trying to make decisions based on, you know, what you gonna do, but no, I want you to make decisions based on what you need to do for yourself. And that's always tough, man, because I've seen married couples like divorce because of stuff like that, you know, and they didn't want to divorce, but you know, they didn't want to be without each other. Like, I'm finna be over here, you finna be over there. Like, life is life. You know what I'm saying? And it happens, man. It's always tough, you know, to be in that situation. But
I probably would have more so listen to her goals and dreams, and then try to push her to accomplish them. You know, I have a tendency when I'm talking about the things that I'm doing and, you know, my accomplishments, and, you know, usually that's the biggest part of the conversation. But then...
you kind of like drown the conversation.
Yeah, so what I have to do is work on, okay, I know what I'm doing. You know, I know the goals I'm working toward. What are you doing? Okay, what you want to be? Where you want to go? Okay, how can I help you get there? Because I know I'm going to get there. I know what I'm doing, but I need to know where you need me to help you get to that. So it was more so. I think had I had did that a little more. You know,
that's good stuff.
I probably would say I probably could have been more supportive. Understanding, that your mate is having a moment and the boat rocking, and instead of giving up on them and saying, well, I've tried, being there and saying, hey, let me help you. How can I help you more? And not just saying, how can I help you like 1 or 2 or 3 times, but trying to stand in the background and, not necessarily look at it from the right, from my point of view, like relationship wise, like, all right, I'm tired of this. Like, I'm tired, you know what I'm saying? Like, take yourself out of the equation and then not being selfish. So I guess not be selfish and say, all right, this ain't working. Noticing that somebody is in need. Okay, what can I do?
Yeah.
And just being more available to ride the storm out with them.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of like you, Edward. Passiveness was one of my weaknesses too. In my last relationship. Looking back, if I could have been a little more,
You like to keep the peace.
well, I like to keep the peace for one, yeah. But if I could have been more, put my foot down on certain things, one of those things being, coming from, my ex had a big family, and then I had a small family, but she was really close to my family. So a lot of stuff she would have, all of our business kind of out, and and I should have, kind of nipped that in the bud early on and say, hey, you know what, I like the fact that you got a relationship with my mom, but what goes on in our house, kind of, and because once you get family and everybody in your business, it makes it hard, man.
Boy, that thing
That's a
gets
snowball.
messy.
It's a snowball, right?
That thing get messy.
So I can relate to you on that. We got a few more minutes. Y'all want to jump in another?
Hey, let Elwood get one, man. Go on, get one, Elwood.
They balled up.
Okay. Besides adult
There
Activities.
you go.
I'm learning.
Hey, we
School good, though.
Why do men sometimes keep women around they don't see a future with? Oh, that's a good question.
You like that one?
I like that one. So besides adult activities, why do men sometimes keep women around they don't see a future in? Since I read it, I want to go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go and give it to him,
Since
Elwood.
I'm fresh back in here. I would say the reason why they keep them around is convenience. It's comfortable. And I don't got comfortable with you being here, and this is what we got going. It's comfortable for me to just deal with that nigga a little bit if the adult activities is good.
There you go.
Like, okay, I can put up with that for
Right.
to, just being honest. Since I'm
Right.
I'm not out. I'm just being. That's one reason I think. But it's been 10 years for me, so I'm not sure if it's the same way.
Yeah.
But you started as you had a starting point, and it was a reason you kept kept your lady around to become your wife. Right.
It was besides the why do we keep convenience.
Yeah, it could be just like with how women see men. It could be monetary.
Mm-hmm.
I've had people I've had people I know that have had women around because they'll buy them a PlayStation or they cook for they monetary, right?
Spend that money.
They do it. You know what I'm saying? So it goes both ways. So men will spend money on women and women will spend money on men in certain situations. So it could be that.
Everybody's different, man. I think depending on what that person provides that person needs, right? If it may not be adult activities, it might be they're a good listener. They let you talk. When in your last relationship, you never got to talk.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
They're good listeners. They might be very.
But the only thing about that, like when you start getting when you talking about talking and stuff like that, and if you're able to express your feelings and stuff like that to that person, it's almost like you can be with them because.
Well, not necessarily. But no, not necessarily, because let's just be honest, because we all done been there.
Yeah.
We done all talked to females.
We keep it real on bro code.
Right, come on now.
Keep it real on bro code.
We done all dealt with females that we ain't necessarily seen a future with, but they was cool.
But you talk to
Right, they fit the moment.
Yeah.
Right. Man, she cool, bro. She listen to what I got to say.
Okay,
but I don't necessarily see nothing with her.
Okay, but
she cool.
piggyback off of you, what I'm saying, and I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna look in the camera and say this. Sometimes we keep them around for the emotional side of it.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
true. Yeah.
She might be that person that basically, and all men do this. I'm saying she might do that. You might get to the point where you have to break and you can cry with her.
You try to
cry
some
with her.
females
You know
allow
what I'm
that.
saying? Like,
Crying is
when
good.
you got somebody
man.
like I'm saying, when you got somebody that you can basically let loose and express how you truly feel on the inside, that you ain't gotta hide nothing. I'm saying it ain't always about that adult activity.
She might give you a completely different feeling than your last relationship.
Right.
She might be more catering. She might be more
It sounds
nurturing.
like
Yes.
y'all got a stable,
Yeah, so-
right? So,
Hey, man.
so you got this horse is for this horse is for trying.
You can go down that rabbit hole. You're right. You
No,
can
I'm
go down
just
that
saying,
rabbit hole.
you got
Yeah.
your stable because everybody
man.
brings
But this is how it is on the opposite side.
Okay.
Right? I've been married for a long time, long time. Right? And when you have a wife that you know is not going nowhere, you're not going anywhere, right? There are things that you want to be able to do with her and tell her. If you don't do it, guess what happens?
What happened?
It's lost.
You can't do it, yeah.
It's lost.
If you bring it to her and you don't do it, yeah, it's lost.
It's
You
lost.
can't do it.
You see?
You know, if I want to go to Aruba, no, I won't go to Aruba. It's lost like that.
No. But what I'm making saying is this. It's just like he said he want to be able to be emotional
down,
with him and break down. With me and my wife, say for instance, I just want to cuddle and hold her. She don't know it. I just say, come here, hold her. And she's like, okay, where's that coming from?
I like that because
You see? So
Right.
when you have a relationship and it's not going where you want it to go, but the person is still there, you have to look at all the things that person can bring to the table and things that you brought to the table that you hadn't even shown them.
Yep.
Because a lot of times you don't even get any further because you hold them back.
Yep. That's true. Well, there it is, fellas. Fans, thank y'all for those 2 questions. We really appreciate it, but we're at the end. It's time to wrap this thing up.
we're finna give Mr. Tony. We're gonna give you a round of applause
Edward.
for coming, hanging out with us.
We give you a round of applause.
And kicking it with us.
No, we're gonna get this
You know what I'm
man.
saying?
Appreciate you, man. Yes, sir.
We're gonna see if we can trigger him into another show, y'all.
We're gonna get them on. We're gonna get them on. We got the live show coming soon.
Yeah.
You'll probably pop up. We'll get you.
That's it.
But hey,
We're in.
Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.
Yes, sir.
Thank y'all. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.